Thank you. Let us be seated, please. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I want to officially welcome you to the second edition of the Registry Staff Association Lecture. You're welcome to Taishola University of Education. Of course, without wasting further time, hello, please let us be seated behind there. Hello, those by the door, please leave the door. Come inside, please. Yes, straight to business. At this junction, I want to introduce, of course, our Vice Chancellor, Professor Oluwole Sikru Banjo, ably represented by the, of course, Director of the Directorate of Academic Planning and Quality Control, Professor Jimo Wale Owoyele. You're welcome, sir. Of course, our our one and only amiable, professional, and of course, administrator. Welcome, Dapo. Okay, you're welcome, sir. Our registrar. Yes, ably seated beside him, of course, is our own acting librarian. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, please jam your hands together as I introduce to you Mr. Omotayo Kodri. You're welcome, sir. At the extreme end of the table there is our own bossa. Ladies and gentlemen, jam your hands together for Mr. Kabu Ogunle. You're welcome, sir. Of course, the person that is going to be our resource person for today, I would only just introduce him just for that purpose, introduction purpose, while I leave you to guess what you're going to receive, expectation, your expectation to judge your expectation in terms of what you're going to hear from his citation. Of course, I won't want to let the cat out of the bag. Let me just introduce our guest for today. For those of them that know him, they call him J.E.T. Yes, but for today, please jam your hands together for our guest lecturer, Dr. Jadesola Babatola, the registrar. The registrar, Ajayi Crowther University. You're welcome, sir. Yes, without further ado, permit me to recognize the presence of our special guests of honor that are here. Of course, I'll start from the Dean of Humanities, Professor Jimmy Ogunaike. You're welcome, sir. Of course, seated next to him is Dr. Kunle Oshinusi, representing the Dean Cosmas, Professor Falashade Oderin. You're welcome, sir. Of course, our one and only former national officer, Anupa. Please jam your hands together for Mr. Sharafaddin Adebisi, the secretary, the postgraduate college. You're welcome, sir. Yes, other DRs here. Of course, permit me to recognize the Deputy Registrar, Academic Affairs Division, Mr. Demola Olongwa Adesoya. Seated next to him, of course, is the Deputy Registrar, Human Resource Management Division, Mr. Tade Adenuba. You're welcome, sir. Yes, next to him, of course, is Ms. Asizat Adeboale, the Deputy Registrar, Management Service and General Admin. You're welcome, sir. Yes, our guy here, the Secretary, Tacit Consultancy, of course, the former Registrar, Crowther University, Mr. Tunde Olite Adekoya. You're welcome, sir. Behind him is the Deputy Registrar, Council's Affairs and Legal Division, Mr. Abiodun Olutosin Onowoga. You're welcome, sir. Yes, next to him is the Deputy Registrar, Senate Affairs Division, Mrs. Adele. The Deputy Registrar for Center for Human Rights and Gender Education, Mr. Ololade Ogubanjo. You're welcome, sir. The Deputy Registrar Admissions, Mr. Nii Adesoya. You're welcome, sir. Yes, I want to use this opportunity to recognize other institutions that are here to show love. Of course, the contingent from the guest lecturers university, please jam your hands together as I call For recognition, Ajayi Crowther University, Oyo, please. Contingent, please seated. Please be seated. Contingent from Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agowe, please. Ogun State Polytechnic of Health Education, Health and Allied Science, Ilese Ijebu. Stand up for recognition, please. The Porter Health College, Oru Ijebu. You're welcome. Abraham Adesoya Polytechnic, Ijebu. You're welcome, sir. Yes, I'm being told that the bursary and all the staff of Traditional University of Education are here. Please stand up for recognition, please. Yes, the registrar, of course, is the host for today, but the person that had gathered us here today is no other person who is the chairman of this great association. Kindly jam your hands together as I call to the podium to give us his welcome address, Mr. G.A. Olukade.
I want to sincerely appreciate God for making today a reality. And I want to thank God for granting all our invited guests from far and near journey mercy to this place. And I cannot start without appreciating Oga from the podium here, from the art table here, the man that our number one citizen in Taisho University of Education, the one that we refer to as the 4th century administrator. And I'm talking of the Vice Chancellor, ably represented by Professor Jimo Owoyele. Want to appreciate you, sir. Oga is unavoidably absent, and that's why. And I want to appreciate also the second in command in this blessed institution, in person of Professor Olakunle Olanrewaju Adeogun, that in his Asia. And I want to also appreciate our Oga, and that is our patron. Is a man that, according to his name, that is surrounded by honor. He is astute administrator par excellence, talking of no other person than our registrar, Mr. Oladapo. Okay, I want to thank you, sir. Help me to appreciate him. So, also, I want to sincerely appreciate our beloved, the one that I refer to as the custodian of our money in this school. I'm talking of no other person than the university bossa, Mr. Kabiru Ogunleye. Thank you, sir. Likewise, I want to thank our Oga here also, the one that I refer to as the custodian of knowledge. That is in person of the acting university librarian, that is Mr. O.M. Quadri. We want to thank you, sir. Going to the business of the day, I'm here to give the welcome address. And I want to sincerely appreciate God once again for making today a reality. I will humbly request for your permission to start by appreciating the Almighty God once again for the opportunity He has granted us to hold this second in our registry lecture series. Precedence is an important aspect of building tradition and ensuring continuity. I am delighted to say that the maiden registry lecture held last year was a huge success and had laid a good precedent for this year and future ones. I wish to thank the university management, members of the executive arm of Tasud Registry Staff Association, because a team cannot make a forest, and the lecture planning committee for working assiduously towards the success of this event, ably led by our Oga, the Deputy Registrar, Mr. Sharafaddin at DBC. We want to sincerely appreciate you. I can boldly say that this annual registry lecture series has now come to stay. The topic of this year's lecture is maximizing workers' productivity in a distressed economy. Even though the argument keeps going back and forth between the government and our agent on the other side and the general populace on the other side of the divide as to whether not Nigeria economy is distressed. I want to tell you the bare face actually currently faced by Nigeria needs no seer to this far. They are as clear as bright day. These hardships have manifested in many forms, namely high inflation rates, decreased value of naira, increased food prices, high poverty rate, high rate of unemployment, increased crime rates, banditry, kidnapping, general insecurity, deplorable infrastructure, high rate of corruption, among others. Undeniably, this difficult situation will negatively affect the morale and mental health of many workers and consequently result in low productivity. If not urgently and properly addressed, that is what this year lecture is set to address. We all know, we all know from our daily experience that there seems to be no solution to reduce the amelioration what we are currently facing in our workplaces. We are all here to discuss and encourage ourselves so that no matter the situation, we are still trying to put in our best towards the success of the university. Our guest lecturer is a renowned scholar. I want to sincerely apologize for meeting him. He is a man of many parts. I want to tell you he's an elder statesman. Join your heart together to appreciate our assistant administrator, Dr. Jadesola Babatola. And I'm confident that this is insight will rejuvenate us and spur us all to action, while appreciating all of us for making out time to attend this event. I want to encourage us to make use of this opportunity and right thereafter with a resolve to put all that have been learned into action in our different duty posts. With the approval of the registrar and our patron, I want us to adopt this slogan in Tasud Registry as Staff Association, Ijagun henceforth. If I say registry staff, your response will be excellence is possible. Registry staff, registry staff, registry staff. Thank you and God bless you, sir.
Thank you. Clap your hands. Let's clap for him, please. I'm being told that the registrar, the Porter Health College, Urijebu, is there. Please come forward, sir. Please come forward, sir. Clap for, please. Let's clap for him, please. Contingent. This mission, all the way from Benin. You're welcome. The contingent from Purdue School of Health, Okeri, Ijebu, please stand up for recognition, please. You're welcome. I would like to call to the podium our registrar for the registrar's address. You're welcome, sir.
Hello. Hello.
The Vice Chancellor, ably represented by the Director of Academic Planning and Quality Assurance, Professor J.W. Owoyele, the Bossal of the University, Mr. Kabir Kayode, FCA, the Acting Librarian, Mr. Omotai Okodri, our guest lecturer, a friend and brother registrar from Ajayi Crowther University, the university of my church, the Anglican Communion, Dr. Jadesola Babatola, you're welcome. Deans of colleges, heads of academic and non-teaching departments, the deputy registrars of this university, visiting institutions, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure that I extend my warmest greetings to all of you on this auspicious occasion of the second registry lecture of Taisho Ari University of Education. I welcome our guest lecturer and distinguished colleagues from other institutions to our compact and beautiful campus in Ijagun, in the heart of Ijebuland, Ogun State. As we gather here today, our purpose is to celebrate another year of our great and valued contribution to knowledge, professionalism, hard work, and pursuit of excellence in our great university, the preferred university of education of the 21st century. Taisho Ari University of Education stands as a beacon of learning committed to nurturing young minds and shaping future leaders, with its unique selling position as a proposition of first in Nigeria, second in Africa, and eighth in the entire world. TASU's unwavering dedication to solid principles and platforms sets it apart, making it a work in progress towards a true institution of global excellence and distinction. Next year, in 2025, our university will be marking her 20 years of existence. Like I told some of you in a recent parley, a child of 20 years is already an adolescent. She must have attained certain level of physical development and appreciable levels of psychological and social changes, expressing emotional and social independence, personal values, and self-sufficiency. It suffices to say that at this age, our university must have established some core values in global academic standards, culture, and tradition of our own, in line with global best practices and society roles. All this we can achieve
if by our job callings we continue to play our roles well as the gatekeepers to the university. I stand here as your registrar and team leader to acknowledge your hard work, dedication, and resilience in our collaborative effort to live up the tassel song. I'm very proud to say that we are doing well in our service delivery to the university. The present university management under the leadership of our amiable and dynamic Vice Chancellor, Professor Oluwole Banjo, continues to promote professionalism and encourage innovations through continuous professional development, CPD, and administrative and service reforms towards academic excellence in the university. I'm happy to acknowledge that above 70% of our administrators in this university, due to our consistent training and retraining programs, are well grounded in IT and communication development under the concept of do it yourself policy of the university. Unlike before, every registry staff in the university is productive, updated in modern administrative skills. Our administrative and service activities, evaluation, and promotions are properly conducted on the principle of global best practices with strict adherence to extant rules and regulation. Our objectives are geared towards efficient and effective service delivery for optimum academic standards. Permit me to acknowledge the great support of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Oluwole Banjo, and his management team in ensuring that we have a robust and standard registry, as defined above. In spite of the meager resources, the administration continues to pay our salaries regularly. I hope you will clap for that. You know the bossa is here, so that by next week, you will hear the alert again. Yes, in spite of the meager resources, the administration continues to pay our salaries regularly and promote our staff as of when due. Issues of staff welfare are handled with keen interest and most diligently. The registry in the university under my leadership has received best attention. I can say that from the management. During the 2023-24, a total of 68 appointments of staff were regularized. 86 registry staff got their normal promotion. Some staff got converted and upgraded. The management, through the recommendations of the Administrative and Technical Staff Appointment and Promotions Committee, approved the right placement of salaries for 31 staff in the junior staff cadre. It is also worth mentioning that about 20 registry staff will be attending the NIM convention and conference in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, with full sponsorship of Telfont. Among other notable management sponsorship of conferences, attendance for registry staff. We say a big thank you to the Governing Council and the management for the worker-friendly principle and policies, and for making our university a citadel of academic standard in the pursuit of global excellence and distinction. I must also acknowledge our unions for their good understanding and collaborative effort towards making the university system achieve its set objectives. As we delve into the lecture, let us reflect on the vital roles of a 21st century registry in our statutory roles and obligations as the custodians of academic records, guardians of institutional memory, and facilitators of administrative processes. I want to use this opportunity of our intellectual engagement here today to call on all administrators in the nation's every hour to set agile goals that will bring everyone in the system on track while adapting to changing socio-economic circumstances. We must deploy strategies that will clearly define and maintain the organization's transparency and
accountability with the right leadership skills and best service professional standard. Our efforts and roles in the system must ensure the smooth functioning of the academic programs, the calendar, and total well-being of the academic community from admission to graduation and beyond. To the organizers, the RSA, and our guest speaker, Dr. J.E.T. Babatola, and participants of this lecture from various institutions and our own members from TASUD here, I commend your commitment to intellectual discourse and advancement of knowledge. May our deliberation today inspire innovative ideas and solutions, foster collaboration, and ignite curiosity among our professional colleagues and other members of the academic community. In closing, permit me to once again call on our members to always embrace the spirit of right professional standard, observe the basic objective of university system, and uphold the values that define TASUD as the preferred university of education of the 21st century. Together, we can continue to build a brighter future, one where education transcends boundaries and empowers generations to come. Thank you, and may this second registry lecture be a resounding success. I thank you all for your rapt attention. Thank you.
Please, let's continue to clap for him until he gets it. I'm being told the principal, TASWES, that is Taishola University Secondary School, Igbeba is here, Mrs. Adebola Omoyele. Please stand up for your recognition. You're welcome, ma. Sir, I would like to call the Vice Chancellor, ably represented by Professor Jimoh Owoyele, to come and give the Vice Chancellor's address.
Please be seated. The Registrar of our great university, Mr. Dapo Oke. The bursar of the university, Mr. Ogunleye. Our acting university librarian, Mr. Quadri. Deans and directors here present. Distinguished deputy registrars, too many to mention them one by one. Please accept my greetings. Other distinguished colleagues and staff of Taishola University of Education, Ijagun, our distinguished guests from various institutions, we are very glad for your presence, and we pray that you have a safe journey back to your destinations. Of course, our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. J.E.T. Babatola, the Registrar of Ajayi Crowther University, Oyo. You are most welcome, sir. Permit me to specially welcome you to our great university, the university that we call the Taishola University of Education, the Ijagun, a very compact but serene university environment. We are always very proud to introduce ourselves with the formula 128. That is to say that we are the first in Nigeria, that is the first university of education in Nigeria. We are the second in Africa, because we are established after that of Winneba. But today, in terms of chronology, we can say we are the second in Africa, but in terms of performance, we are the first in Africa. And of course, the 8th in the world. As a university of education, our focus is to ensure adherence to the best practices in the education industry in terms of sound pedagogy, and of course, robust content mastery by our students. And of course, we are already making a lot of breakthrough across the world. Therefore, today's lecture is part of the efforts that are designed to further strengthen the university so that we can continue to be the leader in the education industry. Looking at the theme of today's lecture, maximizing workers' productivity in a distressed economy. When we listened to the chairman or the president of the registry staff, he told us that the concept of distressed economy is subject to debate. However, if we pick just one of the parameters, the parameter that once your expenditure is higher than your income, then you are distressed. I want to say that perhaps we may say Nigeria presently is facing a distressed economy. In situations like that, workers will always have a lot of excuses not to be at their best. For instance, if one wakes up in the morning and is not sure of his 3-day square meal, then he will hardly think about the job. Or he is able to take the morning meal, but is already concerned about the transportation to the place of work. That's also another challenge. But in face of all those challenges, when there are challenges, it is believed that challenges will remain as long as we do not make effort to solve them. And the best solutions to challenges is to enhance our productivity, to raise the platform. So as a university, we cannot shy away from the fact that we have to continuously enhance our productivity. And by productivity, we mean the quality of our services, we mean the quality of our products, we mean commitment to our business. And what is the business of a university? Generation of knowledge, and of course, production of the best graduates for the economy. So long as we are committed to continue to do that, we cannot but continue to struggle to enhance our productivity. Therefore, we want to say that today's theme is an appropriate one, because when we talk about the quality of our products, is a multidimensional thing, and it can be measured with a lot of parameters or baselines. It cannot be done by any single entity. When we say quality of learning, we may be talking about the classroom. But when we talk about quality of social interactions or development of the social skills that go along with it, we cannot but talk about the academic staff, the non-academic staff, and all people who are involved in the production of the students. In other words, if the products are good, then the credit will go to all. The credit will have to be shared by all. Without preempting the guest speaker, I want to believe that being a seasoned administrator, and of course a very popular one, because I realized when his name was mentioned, people were reacting joyously. In fact, they mentioned the nickname, but it has escaped my brain. So you are most welcome to our university. And on behalf of our Vice Chancellor, Professor O.S. Banjo, a distinguished professor of ecotourism and hospitality management, who is unavoidably absent at this program, but I strongly believe that he is monitoring the progress of the lecture because he's very much interested in it. So on behalf of the Vice Chancellor and the management of the university, I hereby declare this registry lecture open.
Let's continue to clap for him until he's seated. Yes. The reason why we are gathered today, we are the junction where we take the reasons. The theme for today, minimizing workers' productivity in a distressed economy. Okay, maximizing workers' productivity in a distressed economy. And the person that is going to do justice to this is no other person but our invited guest. Before I go to him, there are some professions that, like the MC, they have that liberty to just tell somebody. So come forward, you. So permit me now to use that power as the MC to call our guest to come to the podium and remain standing while they take his citation. The person to do justice to this is no other person but the Deputy Registrar, Human Resource Management Division, Mr. Tade Adenuga. Thank you, sir.
The Vice Chancellor, ably represented by Professor Uyele, our amiable Registrar, Mr. Sunday Oladapoke, and other principal officers here present, deans and directors, our amiable deputy registrars who are seated here to make this occasion colorful, our distinguished guests, distinguished participants here. I'm also aware that we have our online participants. You are watching us. I wave to you. Thank you very much for joining us. Members of TASU Registry Staff Association, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present a citation on our highly esteemed guest lecturer at this second edition of the Registry Lecture of this university. The guest lecturer has been invited to the podium. And like the MC said, I also want to use the power of the microphone to say that he should stand and remain standing. Dr. J.E.T. Babatola, born over 5 decades ago, is the son of the late High Chief Dr. J.E. Babatola, a renowned politician, cooperator, and educator from J.E.T. His mother, the late Chief Mrs. M.E. Babatola, was the first headmistress of Nigerian first private nursery school, Alafia Institute in Ibadan, and a pioneer initiator of Montessori education in Ekiti State. Dr. Jadisola started his elementary school in 1972 and entered Christ School, Ado Ekiti, in 1980 for his high school education. In 1986, he entered Ondo State University, Ado Ekiti, and graduated in 1990 with a Bachelor of Arts Honors degree in History. He also obtained a Master's of Science degree in Political Science, Public Administration from University of Ibadan in 1997. In 2019, he was awarded a Doctor of Philosophy degree, PhD, in History and International Studies at Ekiti State University, Ado Ekiti. Thank you. If you are clapping, you can do more. Dr. Babatola is a professional manager, a chartered administrator, chartered secretary, and a certified management consultant with 34 years working experience in the public and private sector, including over 23 years of higher education management experience. In the career path, he started work in the higher education sector as a teaching assistant on part-time basis before joining the registry of the university as an administrative officer 1. He rose through the ranks to the post of a deputy registrar in 2015 at Ekiti State University, Ado Ekiti. In 2017, he was appointed the registrar, National Institute for Educational Planning and Administration, Ondo, and moved to Federal Polytechnic, Ekowe, Bayelsa State in 2018 as the registrar and secretary to council. As a sought after, he joined Ajayi Crowther University Oyo, as the registrar in June 2021. In the academic community, he is recognized as a researcher and a Goku scholar through his several publications. He was included in the World Academic Scientific Index of Leading Experts in Africa as a notable academic scholar contributor in his field of specialization. In the university, he was appointed a member of Government Visitation Panel and University Governing Council of J.E.T State University from 2007 to 2009. As a university administrator, between 2004 and 2016, he combined his administrative duties in various duty posts with management services, such as registrar's representative and secretary in more than 100 committees, panels, and task force of the university. He also served as a university orator, master of ceremonies, and event facilitator during the same period. From 1993 to date, he has attended over 60 training programs and management conferences locally and abroad, and he is widely exposed and traveled. He has visited the following countries: United Kingdom, United States of America, Canada, South Africa, Ethiopia, Libya, Turkey, Israel, Palestine, Benin Republic, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. In the professional sphere of accreditation, is a fellow of Nigerian Institute of Management Chartered, fellow of Chartered Institute of Administration, fellow of Institute of Corporate Administration, fellow of Institute of Management Consultants, member of the Association of Nigerian University Professional Administrators, members of the Association of University Administrators, now Association of Professional Higher Education Administrators, United Kingdom, full member of Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, associate of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, and associate of Network for Internationalization of Education. Part of his community service in the university included serving as the Zonal Secretary West and Branch Secretary of Senior Staff Association of Nigeria University, SANU, the State Secretary of Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Ekiti State, the National Secretary, National President, and Registered Trustee of Ekiti State University, EXU Alumni Association. He served as the Branch Secretary and Chairman of Association of Nigeria University Professional Administrator, ANUPA, at Ekiti State University, Ado Ekiti, for 12 years. You can clap for that. He was appointed a commissioner at Ekiti State Basic Education Board in 2007 and served as a member of Governance Subcommittee of Ekiti State Transition Committee in 2022. He bagged several awards in recognition of his leadership contribution and achievements. In 2007, the government of the State of Israel awarded him the Tourism Goodwill Ambassador during his Jerusalem pilgrimage as a notable public figure. At the 40th anniversary celebration of Ekiti State University in March 2022, he was named among the 40 distinguished alumni awardees. Dr. Babatola, hobbies are reading and writing, alumni relations, community service, photography, and social media networking. He's a grandfather, happily married to a university educator. Law and security expert, Mrs. M.J. Babatola, with children pursuing their profession in accountancy, law, sport, and medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you this administrator par excellence, the one who have become registrar in both state, federal, and then private institutions. He is the current registrar of Ajayi Crowther University, Oyo. I present to you once again Dr. J.E.T. Hallelujah. Taiwo Babatola. While you keep clapping, it's my honor to also bring him to the podium to deliver his lecture. You are welcome, sir.
To God be the glory. I want to thank everyone here for the honor done me this morning. I want to thank the Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, for this invitation. It's a great privilege to be in your midst, and I pray I won't disappoint you for the time given to me for this presentation. We'll be talking about minimizing workers' productivity in a distressed economy. But I won't forget a protocol. The Vice Chancellor, in absentia, ably represented by our dear Professor, the Registrar and Secretary to Council, a distinguished scholar, amiable personality, a brother, a comrade, a reputable administrator, other principal officers here, the bursar, the university librarian. Permit me to recognize former registrars who are seated here and serving registrars who are seated here at this occasion. My darling Egbon, brother and friend, Sarafadin Adebisi. Let me appreciate management staff here, particularly other directors, deans, and directors of the university, registry staff, representatives of various institutions here present, in particular my able lieutenants from Ajayi, Crowther University, Oyo. Let me appreciate delegates from University of Benin. I still spoke with the registrar this morning, and he said you're on the way and that you'll be part of this program. And all other institutions that time will not permit me to mention you one by one. Let me appreciate you all, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We have a long way to go, and we have short time to spend. I cannot speak authoritatively about this topic because I'm not grounded theoretically in building models in the field of economics and management. But when a registrar of any academic institution, of any university, or any tertiary institution is called upon to present any paper or a position on any matter, we have no choice but to take the gullet and do our best in our presentation. So I'm addressing economists among you and those who are grounded in managerial theories, that you have to put this theory aside and let us learn together by rubbing minds. I've stated in the paper that there are three crucial reasons why I have to take up this lecture, and which should also be the same concern for anyone called upon in a situation like this. One, it is the responsibility of administrators to take up any job given to them and provide administrative and essential support services in the university. We must do this to develop our ability to handle any subject given to us. Secondly, as professional administrators working with academics, we are seen also as apprentice or academic scholars or scholars in training, who perform office duties as administrators, departmental administrators, office managers, event managers and organizers, secretaries of committees and facilitators of meetings. We are also seen as public analysts and researchers. So, for us to meet the expectation of our academic colleagues in the university system, being the supporting pillars and essence of academic scholarship and management, we must be ready at any point in time to take up a task given to us, particularly when it's in a situation where we have to make presentations. Another reason why we have to pick a topic like this is that administrators at middle level, and senior ranks, and those occupying positions of management should not give excuse when called upon to perform the role of teaching and mentoring, because it is part of our leadership requirement and capacity to contribute to staff development and training. It's the only way we can expose our staff by giving experience of what we know to them towards sustaining their self-development, skills acquisition, knowledge-based training, and competences. So those of us in leadership positions should be distinguished in many ways with the capacity to identify and clarify issues, delve into topics, to give good understanding where required, in forming a formidable team, a workforce for the organization, and in this case, the university system. Going forward, I wish to state that it is essential that in increasing workers' input in any organization where a nation is experiencing economic distress, it is a responsibility of a management and those in leadership positions heightened by sociological factors to do what is necessary to address the situation. Workers facing economic hardship are disturbed, distressed, or handicapped in performing their work and providing services efficiently and effectively due to facing financial challenges that normally hampers personal growth, social relevance, affordability of needs and wants in the market economy, access to cash and financial capacity for building, for investing, even in certain circumstances facing bankruptcy or poverty, unhealthy living, and inability to play their roles even in the family and the society. It is a challenge for workers who wish to work well when they cannot afford basic necessities of life, such as good feeding, clothing, affordable housing and transportation, access to affordable and prompt health services, humanitarian and charitable contributions to the society. As workers' input and capacity dwindle without the hope of getting better or doing well, the organization's aspiration of meeting its mandate is gradually waning, because it is people that makes the organization and not the organization that makes the people. To sum it up, whatever stimulates the management to ensure that staff are efficient and effective in a workplace, even when workers' morale are down, or the motivating factor for work is unsatisfactory, requires that those in leadership positions are knowledgeable, exposed, and prepared for challenges in the positions occupied. There are several factors that affect the way a man in the workplace reacts to policy issues, programs, laws, and conventions. What influences governance, the expectation and social security of citizens, business ideas and monopolies, industrial practice and market forces, often also determines the degree of standards and level of work performance in the organization. So society will have challenges at one time or the other. Just as we're experiencing in Nigeria today, we remember that from 1st to the 10th of August, we had public protests all over the country, even though it was not pronounced in the Southwest. Society will always have challenges. And those in leadership position need the relevant skills and ability in such instances to address the situation. Leadership requires good reasoning, capacity to stimulate the workforce to achieve the goals set by each organization. The essence of leadership is not mere seniority by appointment or promotion. It is not an entitlement, but it is understanding the organization essence, the mandate for pursuing and stimulating the team towards purpose, developing capacity to lead towards standards and principles while encountering challenges on the way. Leadership for survivor in distress is like the Boy Scouts motto, be prepared. Now, we want to dwell on the subject matter. Economy, workforce development, and human productivity. The concepts and the Nigerian experience. Permit me to give a conceptual framework or a theoretical base justification by defining, breaking down into words that we can easily understand. What constitutes the basis of our discussion? One, economy. Economy, has been paraphrased there, refers to the system of production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. Economic development. Economic development, on the other part, encompasses the processes and policies that enhance economic growth, stability, and prosperity. In discussing this deal, within the concept of distressed economy, the potential and trend of economic activities in a country has to be highlighted, from running the economy in terms of input and results to the policies that influences and control economic activities, human growth, and social development. The economy is a bustling activity, a process of exchange of goods and services. It is run by people and not by robotics. It requires capital, favorable and powers and ability to multiply financial sources and benefits while enabling citizens to survive within the basic necessities of life in order to have an impactful society. Workforce development. This focuses on upskilling to enhance labor market competitiveness and human productivity for the economy to thrive, while measuring efficiency and effectiveness of individuals, teams, and organizations. Human productivity. This depends on the variables in the society to boost economic growth. In making economies to grow and increase its potential to lead and improve standards of living and prosperity, the layers of investment in education and training of human capital is very crucial. Encouragement and assistance for developing innovation and entrepreneurship among able-bodied citizens in providing greater part of energy and dedication to social good is necessary to foster a skilled and adaptable workforce in the society. The level of support given by government, organizations, and academic institutions for research and development in the society also matters, because steps taken to foster a culture of productivity and efficiency in various sectors of the economy requires encouragement of lifelong learning and professional development. It is essential to identify the layers of development in education and training of human capital in modern society for us to be able to get to where we are going. Looking at Nigerian national policy on education, we have been able to identify some of the basic educational platforms that must be in place in this country. And we have basic education, which is primary and secondary, for foundation skills and knowledge, vocational training, which is practical skills for specific industries, higher education, that is tertiary, which is advancing knowledge and skills, continuous professional development programs for ongoing skill enhancement and upskilling, lifelong learning, on-the-job training, mentorship and coaching, leadership development, specialized training, research and development are some of the basic things that every nation, country, advancing knowledge and empowering its citizens should put in place. We have the policy in Nigeria, but how far have we been able to implement the policy to achieve its goals? One thing is very important that we need to know: the positive impacts of having in process these educational facilities, training facilities. We believe, and as the economists among us, the management theorists among us have stated, postulated, that there are positive impacts for training, for educating people, for advancing knowledge, for self-development. And part of it is improved productivity, economic growth, increasing the level of competitiveness, reduction of unemployment, increased earnings, reduction of brain drain, increased earning, whereas the negative impacts are brain drain, inequality, dependence on oil, corruption, limited job opportunities. As a result, to maximize the impact of investment in human capital, Nigeria needs to improve its access to quality education and training. Attempt to prioritize human capital development in a developing country like Nigeria can unlock its economic potentials and achieve sustainable growth. In order for us to encourage innovation and entrepreneurship among able-bodied citizens, there's a need to focus on raising the following: provision of access to funding, grants, and loans to support startup and innovative ideas, establishment of incubators and accelerators to offer mentorship, training, and resources, offer of tax breaks and incentives to encourage entrepreneurship and innovation, provision of training and development programs to enhance skills in areas like technology, business management, and marketing, connection of entrepreneurs with experienced mentors and networking opportunities, streamlining of regulatory processes, provision of support in registry and licensing companies and firms, creation of dedicated space for innovation and entrepreneurship, integration of entrepreneurship and innovation into education curricula, creating agencies and programs to support entrepreneurship and collaboration with the industry, the private sector. Nigeria can learn and has been learning from countries who designed and implemented strategies in this direction. For instance, the United States of America, in encouraging a culture of innovation and risk-taking, established programs like Small Business Administration and the National Science Foundation. Singapore adopted attractive tax incentives, funding and infrastructure support by creating the Singapore Startup Fund and the Action Community for Entrepreneurship. Israel fostered a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship by starting a program called Israeli Innovation Authority and the Startup Nation Initiative. Sweden also did the same by creating the Swedish Agency for Economic and Regional Growth, as well as the Innovation Agency. Looking through the programs that has been put in place to improve on employability of workforce in Nigeria, we can count the following: the National Youth Service Corps, which is a mandatory program for graduates to develop skills and gain 1 year work experience. The National Industrial Training Fund, ITF, providing training and development programs for workers in various industries. Establishment of vocational training centers, apprenticeship programs, NDE. The Nigerian Skills Qualification Framework, which is to standardize skills training. The National Vocational Qualification Framework, the Youth Entrepreneurship Development Program, and SMEDEN, which is a Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency. We also have in Nigeria the Content Development and Monitoring Board. In the oil and gas sector, the Ministry of Labor and Employment, Skills and Development Program, and so many others that I've highlighted in this paper. Looking at the stages of advancement of infrastructure and technology designed to drive economic activities in exchange for workers' productivity since Nigeria's independence, we can say that the nation has witnessed infrastructural development in the following areas: transportation. There have been construction of roads and bridges and highways to facilitate movement of goods and people. Energy, which is the development of power generation and distribution of infrastructure to support industrial and commercial activities. Water, which include investment in water treatment and supply infrastructure to support industrial, agricultural, and domestic needs, particularly the water basin authorities. In telecommunication, we have developed the infrastructure to support communication and data exchange. Through this, Nigeria has been able to achieve minimally the following: digitalization, which is adoption of digital technologies in various sectors; automation, which links to automation technology in the industries; innovation hubs, and incubators to support entrepreneurship, cybersecurity, which is part of a cybersecurity infrastructure to protect digital assets. Economic growth initiatives in Nigeria over the years, despite the fall of Naira, has shown that there have been, to some extent, established industries and manufacturing plants in the country to drive economic growth. We can still mention Dangote among the industries that have survived despite the struggle of Naira with dollar. Diversification of the economy with reduction in dependency on oil through export, trade, commerce, and other forms of investment. Workforce in Nigeria also benefited from education, training programs to develop skilled workforce, capacity building in form of programs to enhance workers' productivity and efficiency, entrepreneurship, social protection programs to support workers' welfare. All these development stages designed to drive economic activities, improve workers' productivity, and enhance overall standard of living in Nigeria can be easily mentioned. In the area of research and development in Nigeria since independence, there have, however, been a lot of inconsistency and inadequacy observed. On government support, there was initial enthusiasm after independence. However, the government showed, as much as the government showed enthusiasm for research and development by establishing institutions like FIRO and NISA, there has been a decline and a neglect of research and development over the years. Even in tertiary institutions where we still have access to TED fund, there's still a need to revitalize research and development in our institutions. In the area of organizational support, international organizations like World Bank, UNDP, and UNESCO has provided funds and technical support for several research and development projects in Nigeria. Civil societies and NGOs like Nigerian Academy of Science have advocated for research and development. Academic institutions, particularly universities, have remained in the forefront of research and development. Nonetheless, it has been observed that research output is still very poor and mechanical, even though Nigerian researchers have made significant contributions in medicine, agriculture, and engineering. Even in the field of education, we are one of the best eggheads in the world. The major challenges often discussed around this is funding, lack of infrastructure, brain drain, and the need to update our research infrastructure, laboratories, and equipment. Many Nigerian researchers have emigrated abroad in search of better opportunities. Despite the fact that in recent times, the government has created the National Research Fund, the Science, Technology, and Innovation Policy launched in 2019, and the National Strategy for Competitiveness in Raw Materials and Product Development. The need to foster a culture of productivity and efficiency to boost the Nigerian economy shows that the government and institutions should be committed to the following. Education reforms. Education reform was implementing curricula that emphasize skills development, critical thinking, and problem solving. Vocational training. Establishing vocational training programs for school-age citizens and working students to acquire practical skills. Capacity building, providing workshops, seminars, and conferences for professionals to enhance their skills and knowledge. Mentorship programs, undertaking performance management systems to monitor progress and set goals. Innovation encouragement, digital literacy acquisition, leadership development, continuous learning, productivity awards, collaboration and partnership, skills development funds, initiative, labor market analytics, career guidance. These are important things that we need to put in place. Looking at the economics of productivity and workforce management. Productivity has been severally defined as the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, that is 20% of effort yield 80% of results. The law of diminishing returns also states that increasing effort beyond a point yield decreasing returns. While Parkinson's law assumes that work expands to fill the time available. In deriving the parameters for emphasizing workforce engagement, it is necessary to follow the following assumptions. The Maslow hierarchy of needs, that is basic needs, safety, love, esteem, and self-actualization, as well as the Herzberg two-factor theory, talking of hygiene factors, salary and benefits, as well as motivation factor, which is recognition and growth. All these laws and theories provide insight into maximizing productivity, engaging the workforce, and driving innovation. By applying these principles, organizations can improve their workers' performance, motivation, and creativity. The economics of productivity involve understanding the key concepts, such as labor productivity, that is the output per hour of work, total factor productivity, that is the output per unit of combined labor and capital input, human capital, that is education, skills, and experience that can increase workers' productivity, opportunity cost, deriving value from alternative use of labor and resources, diminishing returns, considering increase in labor input that can lead to decrease in marginal product, which is the additional output from one point of labor to the other. Every organization attuned and desirous of applying these concepts are likely to make well-informed decisions on workforce management, productivity, and efficiency, leading to improved economic outcomes. The effect of workers' performance on organization growth and workplace development in a growing and a distressed economy suffice. Workers' performance has significant impact on organization growth and workplace development in growing. In a growing economy, high-performing workers drive innovation and productivity. They enhance customer satisfaction, increase revenue and profitability, and foster a positive work culture. The organizational growth in such environment returns in expansion and market share increase. At the same time, workplace development can be measured by the investment in employee development and training, adoption of new technologies and processes, and continuous improvement. In a distressed economy, high-performing workers help maintain productivity by their role in developing innovative solutions to challenges and supporting organizational restructuring. Organizational growth in such a situation is a matter of survival and stability, cost management and reduction, diversification, and new revenue streams. Workplace development also focus on core competencies and essentials, process reengineering and optimization, employee engagement, and motivational strategies. Looking at this scenario, the challenges and opportunity for a growing and distressed economy differs. So in revamping a distressed economy through social engineering, there must be self-sufficiency and simulations of workers' capacity for strategic interventions to stimulate growth. It requires, for instance, social re-engineering, adopting reform policies and programs to address poverty, inequality, and social injustice, to foster inclusive growth, social cohesion, and human capital development. Some of you can relate the policy of the current government of the Tinubu administration, where soft loans were being given at some of about 50,000 naira to citizens who are not earning as appropriate. And we can also see that the Nigerian Labour Congress and other members of the labor movement are at fault for the increase in the minimum wage. And all this, we have effect on citizens, and we also have effect on workers. In building workers' capacity in a situation to stimulate growth, it is essential to invest in education, training, and upskilling programs to enhance productivity and competitiveness, and to foster a culture of innovation, entrepreneurship, and continuous learning. In the area of worker stimulus, the need for motivation and engagement is to encourage participation and commitment, while upskilling and reskilling would enhance abilities and adaptabilities. Together, all these initiatives can result to boosting productivity, enhancing competitiveness, fostering economic growth, and promoting social stability. The essence of stimulating workers' capacity towards revamping the economy has been well established by various scholars. We cannot remove social reengineering and workers' stimulus strategy for the economy to recover and grow, for us to be more productive, and for us to achieve social cohesion. The important ingredients that needs to be understood is how we are to provide training and development opportunities, encourage innovation and entrepreneurship, foster a culture of productivity and efficiency, performance-based incentives, social protection programs, among others, as well as supporting research and development. A distressed economy can only be revitalized if directed towards driving self-sufficiency, growth, and social reengineering. Permit me as an historian to take you back to how it was done in some of the developed countries. Looking at the historical survey of quality higher education and worker satisfaction in a distressed economy, in some of the following countries: United States, United Kingdom, China, Russia, and in the Nigerian university sector. Remember that in the 1930s Great Depression, universities in America prioritized practical skills and vocational training as a medium of education to address labor market needs. By the 70s and the 80s, universities in America were able to combat the economic downturn in that country as they began to focus on research innovations. Research innovation. In United Kingdom, at the same time, when they had economic crisis, universities began to emphasize employability and industry partnership in finding a solution to the problem of their economy. When the country had financial crisis in 2008, universities began to prioritize research funding and internationalization, that is globalization, as a way out. In China, in the 1990s, economic reforms began in the universities to expand access and emphasis on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM fields. And their institutions were able to embrace innovation and entrepreneurship as a solution. So when we see the NUC, TED Fund, and other agencies emphasizing the need for us to embrace entrepreneurship, it is just part of the government policies to take us in the right direction through reforms in the economy, to be able to make citizens of our country self-sufficient, to be able to handle problems in the society. The same with Russia. Looking at the Nigerian factor, we remember the austerity measures in the 80s and the brain drain that went with it. We have been focusing in Nigerian institutions on entrepreneurship and vocational training in manpower development for the nation's future development. Social demands and work expectations for effective performance and productivity in the university show that there is a need for adjustment during an economic crisis by adopting various strategies. Strategies that include, among others, allowing for flexibility and adaptability by becoming open to changes and new ideas, communicating and collaborating by working closely with colleagues and stakeholders, and engaging in professional development by investing in skills enhancement and upskilling. It also focuses on time management and productivity tools by utilizing techniques to optimize work efficiency, engaging in a student-centered approach, focusing on student needs and outcomes, adopting innovative teaching by engaging in effective pedagogies. Positive trends to be used in addressing economic distress also include investment in research and innovation, which I've initially emphasized. Diversification of the revenue stream by looking for alternative funding sources and adopting cost-saving strategies for the purpose of resource allocation and budgeting in the various universities. This is the only way we can navigate out of economic crisis and maintain performance and productivity. Looking at the various steps and approaches adopted in the Nigerian university system since the 1990, in terms of academic and national accreditation, notable trade unions in the Nigerian universities, ASU, NASU, SANU, have made efforts in ensuring that the university system is shaped to improve on workers' productivity. Notable events and negotiations made by these trade unions with government since 2002 include the ASU strike of 2002 over funding and autonomy, the NASU strike of 2007 over staff welfare and infrastructure, SANU strike of 2013 over staff welfare and promotion, 2018 ASU strike over funding and revitalization of universities, and the 2020 strike over IPs, pension fund management, and university autonomy. What has been the gain of all these struggles, apart from the recent complaint against the constitution of governing councils? The gains have been that the unions adopted collective bargaining approach to negotiate to improve working conditions, salaries, and benefits. The unions were able to organize training and development programs for members to enhance their skills and knowledge. The unions also advocated for policies and programs to support workers' welfare and productivity. In the area of developing our academic towers, despite the dwindling legacies, government and stakeholders were able to achieve the following: academic accreditation. They were able to push for academic accreditation programs to enhance the quality of education and staff development. This has resulted in end-use intervention in providing benchmarks and setting guidelines for academic accreditation, improving the quality of education, and enhancing global aspirations and world-class reputation of Nigerian universities. In the area of research and development, the unions have demanded increase in research funding and grants from government with access to TED fund to be able to encourage research and innovation among members in promoting scholarship and culture of excellence. In the area of infrastructure development, universities have begun to witness a wave of facility development. I'm told this is one of the gains of TED fund. This all is a TED fund all. So these are part of the demands of the trade unions which the government accepted in improving infrastructure. Infrastructure has been improved in libraries, laboratories, offices, faculty buildings, etc. It's only that it is unfortunate that private universities are not beneficiaries of TED fund. However, the government is taxing private sector to raise money that is being used to fund public institutions, while its private institutions or private universities exempted from TED fund. It's something we need to address, because our graduates are also products that are in the labor market, feeding the nation's economy. Going back to our discussion, staff welfare package have been fought for to the extent that we now have better salaries, benefits, good working conditions, health insurance, housing loans, retirement benefits, staff welfare, among others, to motivate us at work. Mentorship programs have been introduced. Work-life programs have been introduced. Work-life balance in form of recognition of the importance of personal well-being for productivity. The standard of discipline have been improved upon I'm told that for attending this program, an attendance is being monitored by a department of this university. So it's mandatory for all registry staff to be here. And it's part of the process of showing that we are all committed to achieving a better result in our work performance. And we can only do that by attending training programs, by sitting together where we can share thoughts and rub minds and gain more knowledge. Collaboration with management in building partnership with university management. That is, unions and other stakeholders have been able to address their common challenges through a robust industrial relation. All this I have been able to highlight to be able to show that even though Nigeria today is being seen as being a distressed economy, we have not even enjoyed any good booties after the days of the oil boom. There's always been one economic crisis or the other. Even though we are feeling it at the moment, citizens are feeling it more, that what you take to the market cannot bring home something reasonable and something sustainable for us. But when we go back the history lane, we still need to agree with the fact that over time, there have been negotiations, there have been changes, improving. It's just that the cost of commodities, the money in our hand that we take to market, is just too small to buy what we want to buy. Volkswagen being sold in the 70s for 3,000 naira. You can't get a good car today for less than 3 to 5 million naira, if not more. Someone said 50 million. So the indicator, the economic indicator is that it's not that there have not been improvements one way or the other, but it's just that the economy keeps changing. The narrative, the currency keeps dropping in competing, the naira competing with the dollar. There were days when it was 1 naira to $2. There were days when it became 1 naira to $1. Those were the days when we had import duties regime during the Shagari administration. And there were days when it now became under the first regime of Idi Agbon Buhari, when it now became 4 naira to $1. Today under Tinubu is 1,600 naira to $1. So in all this, the distress has always been there for a while. But government continue, we citizens, through the stakeholders, through the pressure groups, we have been able to negotiate over time for a change. Because if we didn't negotiate, we will not be having parties, corners, and all the comments and all the various salaries we are having today. But what has been the effect of our negotiations? The effect of our negotiations has led to strikes and disruptions of academic programs. It has also changed our approach to industrial issues in terms of confrontation between unions and management, between the public and the government. We have recorded increased resistance of government. And we could remember what happened at Lekki Toll Gate at the NSAS protest a few years ago. We have recorded brain drain. Many of our bright scholars have migrated. Many Nigerians are abroad now, Nigerians in diaspora, and they are no longer contributing to our national development. We have also recorded cases of resistance to reforms, where we now have snakes swallowing the money, corruption and mismanagement in the highest order. And that is why we now have constituency projects that have been abandoned. Thank you. Effect of quality higher education on worker satisfaction in the university during a distressed economy. We've come to realize that higher education can mitigate brain drain through retention of talent, reduction of emigration, fostering of innovation by encouraging entrepreneurship and driving economic growth. The effort to prioritize quality higher education in every country will make our universities to increase worker satisfaction and contribute to a competitive workforce in a distressed economy. A pointer to this fact is that with good and sustainable investment in quality higher education, there will be improved employability of our products. There will be enhanced productivity, where well-trained workers can contribute to the success of the organization. There will be better job matching, increased autonomy, personal growth and development, higher earnings. If educated workers are allowed to negotiate and earn higher salaries in order to give maximum job service and to also derive job satisfaction. It's an opportunity for job security and good sense of purpose. Having talked generally about the environment in which we live and the experiences, the various strategies have been put in place, and the conviction of various scholars on what we need to do to stimulate and drive our economy for effective productivity. My findings show that the goals and expectations of workers for improving productivity in a distressed economy consist of having job security, stability and continuity in the employment, fair compensation, which comprises adequate wage and benefits, and growth opportunities. I heard the registrar saying a few minutes ago that the bursar, by next week, we are going to pay. The salary must be regular. But we're also praying that the salary should be adequate. But the power is not in our hands. The power to increase our salary will require another negotiation. So job security gives way for autonomy and control through work independence, responsibility, accountability, and decision making. Most academic institutions, like any formal organization, aspiring to achieve workers' productivity in a distressed economy, must ensure to adopt the following: have clear communication strategy in place. To be able to communicate in a transparent manner the goals, expectations, and feedback mechanism to be put in place in the institution. There should be performance management beyond APA, because APA is now becoming window dressing. There should be regular evaluation and coaching of staff in each department, in each unit, in each office where we have leaders in the university. This is very important in mentoring and in developing those who are coming behind for the future tasks ahead of them. Training and development must be a goal for us. Investing in worker skills and knowledge. Beyond having a degree, we want for us to be valuable contributors to the economy of the nation and for our own self-sufficiency. We need to have one skill or the other. I know women who are administrators who have other skills that they put to use outside work. And women should also embrace the same form of idea. We have to look for what we can do that we know better and we can do well. There should be incentives and rewards, and this is on the part of institutions. Then we should be thinking of flexible work arrangements. I don't know when we can get there in Nigeria. Since the period of COVID-19, many organizations in United Kingdom, in United States, have introduced working from home, working from location or from various sites. You just key yourself online into your system and you can work from home. It's not every job that you need to be seated in the office before you do it. And for those type of jobs, I think our major problem and impediment in Nigeria is the level of our technology and power. Level of technology and power. Without those impediments, we should be advocating for us to work from home, if possible, because it will reduce its cost on transportation, it will reduce the time we spend on the road, it will reduce the hazards of the road, and yet we can get the work done. Also, technology, I stated it here, employees' engagement with workers, continuous improvement, and focus on employee well-being. This is very important. To improve workers' productivity in the university system during a distressed economy. For us to sustain academic scholarship, we need to focus on interdisciplinary research collaboration by encouraging cross-departmental and multidisciplinary research projects to foster innovation and research sharing. We need to increase industry-university partnership, collaborating with industries to develop practical solutions and to attract funding opportunities for the university. We need to focus on entrepreneurship and innovation hubs, online and blended learning, open educational resources in sharing educational materials to reduce costs and enhance learning. Engaging in faculty development programs to enhance teaching and research skills. Student-centered learning by focusing on personalized and project-based learning to enhance student outcome. Community engagement and outreach by collaborating with the local community, the town-gown relationship to address societal needs and find practical solutions to problems. Digital transformation and automation is another area of leveraging technology. Performance-based incentives for implementing in structures that reward and ensure quality improvement. Conclusion. There are various examples of programs and policies for workers' productivity in a distressed economy. In every distressed economy, training and upskilling programs focusing on emerging industries and skills are vital. Promoting wage subsidies by encouraging hiring and retention is also for job satisfaction and security. Productivity grants through support process and improvement will be helpful for mentorship initiatives for new entrants. In developing economies, it is important to stress that increased workers' productivity to support economic recovery and sustainable growth in the direction of globalization and rearrangement of economic forces will require, one, giving priority to vocational training to develop practical skills in students, providing microfinance and entrepreneurship support to encourage self-employment for graduates, facilitating agricultural training. I was still discussing that with the registrar this morning when he told me he was in Songhai Institute with the vice chancellor and some other university officials. And I hope the registrar will still push the Songhai initiative, because while you were saying it, I was laughing in the morning because I knew I'm going to talk about it in this paper, that the university should facilitate agricultural training and extension services to improve farming productivity among our students. We can also encourage our staff in this direction. We also have to encourage digital literacy and ICT. For instance, my university is making millions from agricultural input. You know, my vice chancellor is a renowned toxicologist and agriculturist, Professor Timothy Abiodun Adebayo. Before now, he was a deputy vice chancellor of Ladoke Akintola University of Oyo, and he brought his expertise to Ajayi Crowther University. We make millions from investing in agriculture, in agricultural farm. We are the first university in Nigeria to have an agricultural seed company. We have also been involved in producing seeds for farmers, seeds that can be used to produce higher yields of crops that can be sold in the market. We have fish farm, a very large fish farm, apart from cattle, animal husbandries, and other things that we're doing as a saving phase, as a way out to survive, because we are not receiving subvention like many public institutions. But even public institutions should be challenged to focus on farming. We have to encourage digital literacy and ICT skill training for our staff, for us to be able to have technological solution to problems. We also have to engage in labor market information systems by regularly providing data that can help us in decision making. We have to institute recognition and reward schemes for our best staff, staff who are always on their desk, staff who are ready to work. Letters of commendation can be issued for staff who are doing their job despite the hardship, who will be at work at the right time, and who will not leave office until the closing hour or way after the closing hour. There are so many things here that I've put in the conclusion that we can look at as a way of finding solution to issues of workers' productivity in a distressed economy. I would say, on a final note, that the wellness and self-care of workers should be paramount, taking cognizance of the need to promote work balance, mental health support, and employee well-being initiatives. Performance monitoring and feedback will require a regular review of work progress, constructive feedback, and adjustment strategies to encourage innovation, risk-taking, continuous improvement, and leadership by example, so that we can demonstrate strong work ethic, empathy, and transparency in building a formidable team. I appreciate my able lieutenants from ACU and other institutions, registrars who are here, serving, and former registrars, distinguished professional administrators from other universities and from TASWED who have participated in today's event. And I believe as we go back to have access to this paper and to digest on it, we'll be able to brainstorm and then find ways out to particularize the solutions to our environment and then stimulate productivity. I want to appreciate you all for the opportunity to present this lecture and for listening with rapt attention. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Please, you can do better than this. Let's continue clapping until he's seated. Let us be seated, please. Please, let us give it to him again. Please, let's clap our hands together for him, please. Sir, thank you so much for the lecture. But I'm proud to tell you that Taishala University of Education, I believe we are the only institution that awards 2 certificates in terms of when your student graduates. We give our students certificate for entrepreneurship, and of course, you talked about farming. I want to tell you that the students of Taishala University of Education will not graduate unless you pass the farm land course, where we have various, agricultural produce. We have the cassava, we have the fish farming, we have the poultry. Huge money is being made from that place, sir. Thank you, sir. We want to tell you that we are in line with what you've said already. Yes, while you were giving your lecture, an important guest came in. Ladies and gentlemen, please clap your hands together as I introduce Mrs. Abdulkarim Yesirat Adebinkpe, the council manager and head of administrative stroke human resource management, Ikorodu West LCDA. You're welcome, ma. Yes, also in our midst is the director at a citadel of Arabic education, Alhaji Ayodele Abdelaziz. You're welcome, sir. The time is fast spent, but notwithstanding, Let me quickly recognize the presence of Dr. Yinka Adedingo, representing the Dean Student Affairs. You're welcome. At this junction, I would like to call on Mr. Bamdele Odugbeson, the DR Media and Corporate Affairs Division, to give us brief nuggets from the lecture we've taken. Brief, sir. Please clap your hands together for him as he makes his way to the podium. He will also coordinate the question and answer session. Ladies and gentlemen, you can quickly write your question and pass it forward. The time is fast spent. We won't be able to be giving the mic to everybody. Quickly write your questions and pass it forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The guest speaker, Registrar and Secretary to Council of Ajayi Crowther University, Dr. J.E.T. Babatola. You are welcome, sir. Your lecture was quite enriching. As a matter of fact, I wanted to refer to it as another inaugural lecture delivered by Registrar, sir, and Secretary to Council, Taishala University of Education. I want to suggest, sir, that the registry too have its own inaugural lecture, so that we'll know that we, like the guest speaker said, that we also are in co-training with academics while serving as support staff. Thank you, sir. My job here is just to give a summary or a brief on the lecture. I've tried to just extract the aspects that relates to administrators to make it as brief as possible. I also want to seek your indulgence, sir, that if in the course of this extraction, I have tended to water your lecture, it is not meant to belittle you, sir. So you pardon me. The lecture actually is maximizing workers' productivity in distressed economy. The guest speaker did mention in the lecture, he reiterated the essence of the workforce in the organization, that the workforce is an important element in moving any organization forward. He also reiterated the implication of a nation in economic distress on the workforce. From what he said, we know that in a distressed economy, the responsibility of administrators in providing effective and efficient service delivery will be hampered. It is only a workforce that is happy. It is only a workforce that is well fed. It is only a workforce that derives satisfaction through other forms of motivation that can provide effective and efficient service delivery. One thing, however, that I observed in the lecture was that the guest lecturer did mention work, and there was no play. We have proponents of staff club seated here. We have proponents of gente, and you may have offended them unwittingly, sir. Sir, the guest speaker also did tell us the psychological trauma that management or leadership usually faces when they are operating in a distressed economy. He did mention administrators at middle level, senior ranks, and management positions, that they need to hone their skills in this distressed time. He did do a survey of the environment the university culture and then the workforce. So he is telling us that at this time, the workforce need to hone their skills through training. They need to also, where the university or the organization cannot provide funds to send you overseas or to send you to conferences, he encourages mentoring through those who have risen through the ranks to develop those coming behind them. He also did say that for continuous professional development, CPD, that we should endeavor to develop ourselves either through reading books or through engaging in continuous professional examinations that will actually improve us on the job. The guest lecturer too did emphasize the implication of a nation in economic distress on the workforce. He says it hampers economic commitment within the family, within the workforce. Sometimes you have to feed, sometimes you have to transport, and all these have gone up astronomically. The resources are not meeting up with the prices of goods outside. He also mentioned that a distress experienced by management or leadership in navigating the ship of an institution is enormous. We know that when it comes to the month of salary or the week of salary payment, you know the headache our management here goes through. So you can understand why the registrar did mention in his opening remarks that we pay salary regularly and that the welfare of staffs are well taken care of. He's trying to say that despite all this, they are still working hard. So, yes. Okay. The guest lecturer too did say that the challenge for workers to give their best under a distressed economy is cumbersome. Because when you have to meet a nagging wife at home and some crying children who know nothing about economics and the distress of an economy, morale seems to be very low. I understand that my summary is turning to be another lecture, and I'm being advised to round up. So if I don't get to my destination, I want to ask for your pardon. So at this point, you will permit me at this point, you will permit me to end my nuggets on the lecture here. However, I have another function to perform here, and that is collating the questions that you have written on a piece of paper for onward passage to the guest lecturer. Okay, can we identify those who want to ask questions here first? Yes, the lawyer is okay. Yes, lawyer, please. I'll take it one after. Okay, come. Somebody get the microphone. Sir? Sir? Okay, the lawyer is one. Who is next? Pastor Ekundayo. Yes, two. We want somebody from other institutions. Olabisi Onabanjo University. Yes. What's the name, sir? Okay, number 3. You are number 3, sir. Who else? Oseni. Oseni, okay. That's number 4. One more. Gender balance, please. Any female among us? Gender balance, I'm gender sensitive. Okay. You are number 5. Okay. Number 1.
Thank you very much. I would like to appreciate the lecturer. That was a rewarding lecture. But sir, I would just want to add that in the solution you have provided, I would have loved you added reorientation. Reorientation. I would have loved you added it. Because reorientation could lead to productivity too. We find ourselves in a situation where most youths nowadays, all they want is money. They are not willing or work towards productivity. And it's because the orientation towards money is becoming unnecessarily high. And that is why we are having problems in our society. In enhancing productivity too, sir, I will suggest discipline. Because you discover that most of the problem we have in society, especially for some of us that goes to court, you can imagine someone who killed his father because of property. It's lack of discipline. Can you steal what belongs to you? You can steal what belongs to you, but unfortunately, it is happening these days. You see people, you see upcoming people, even administrators, trying to do something for their immediate gains. But if they are well oriented, that look, you will get up there. Just take time. You will get up there. When we started in this university, we were looking at DRship as something that but thank God we are there today. So we need a kind of reorientation to let people know that, well, just wait for your time. You will get there and work towards it. Thank you very much.
Please, we want to enjoin other persons who are going to participate in this question and answer session to please go straight to the point. We're already hungry. You may, so that we can. Number two.
Thank you so much. Guest lecturer. Thank you once again. And I think until we have your paper, before we fully enjoy the rich, things that is in that paper. Thank you, sir. My question is, we all know that tertiary institution or tertiary education has gone beyond manpower development. Economic development has become the major thing, if not the first now, for tertiary education. And as you highlighted, our education curriculum should be tailored towards critical thinking, creativity, and productivity. Now, do you think, sir, or do you still advocate for total and absolute government funding for tertiary education in Nigeria, considering the present or almost an infinitesimal contribution to the economy by our higher institution? I also want to say, sir, I saw you kept lamenting of private institutions' exclusion from TET fund. And I also want to tell you, sir, that perhaps it is a blessing in disguise. Remember what oil boom has done to Nigeria economy. Will you still continue to advocate for funding, total funding of our higher education? Thank you, sir.
Yes, number three.
Yeah, thank you, sir. My name is Adekumisi Omotayo from Olabisi Onabanjo University. I want to appreciate the guest speaker. Oh, guy, you are too loaded. If you go in, you are too loaded, please. Thank you, sir. But, sir, what I observe is that maximizing workers' productivity, most of the solution you provide, sir, has to do with management. But on the part of workers, what is our own input to maximizing our output in the workplace. I will just give you two way out. We workers, we need to have a change of attitude to work. And secondly, be ready to make sacrifice. Without that, much cannot be achieved, sir. Thank you, sir.
Number four has submitted his question. Number 5. Number 4 has submitted a paper. Give the microphone to number 5.
Who's number 5?
Thank you, sir, my able registrar. My question goes thus, and it has been a concern to me over the years. Number one, the disparity of grants and years of promotion between academic staffs and the non-academic staffs. We have a situation when grants comes to the university, it's usually allocated to the academic staffs. Whereas we have non-academic staff that are so sound, they aim higher, they want to progress. But why the disparity? I think this should go to the labor and ANOPA to handle. Secondly, and the years of promotions too. Pari passu, where you now look at it again, the years of promotion for academic is 4 years, 3 years, and the years for promotion for non-academics 3 years. I think this is a very important issue. 4 years for non-academics. So I think it has been a concern, and I will advise that ANOPA and the labor, if they are here to, should handle that, so that if we sure, maybe this can be reviewed, and it's going to be also a way of maximizing workers' productivity among the registry staff. Thank you.
Sorry, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let us be orderly, please. Please, the noise is becoming too much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for the various questions and the contributions. I want to appreciate the contributors for highlighting areas that, whether I was silent on it or not make a lot of emphasis about it. For instance, one of the contributors mentioned the issue of reorientation and talked about discipline. Actually, when we look at the problem of our nation at large, the lack of morale, the low level of attitude to work, when we look at the high level of corruption, discipline is a major issue. And it's not even the issue of discipline, but the high level of politicization of education and even politicization of work, to the extent that if we don't know what we are doing, if we are not firm, those of us in leadership position might be reading on our back by those who are owners of institutions or political leaders and figures in the society who want things to be done their way. Setting aside the rules. As administrators, we know we have the condition of service, we have the scheme of service, we have specific rules that we have to apply to work. We have staff manual and other things. But you see some cases where people will say, have an exception, do it this way, do it that way. You now be asking, these are not bureaucratic principles. These are not best practices. These are not the way it should be done. And you will see some of your superiors or bodies saying that this is the way I want it done. The box stops on my table. So, it goes beyond even the reorientation. It goes beyond this discipline. We need to also say the reorientation should be good orientation, mind education. In my university, we have started a program on mind education. My vice chancellor signed an MOU with institutions in South Korea. And we have introduced in our curriculum mind education as a way of addressing our students who are facing one challenge or the other. Because we realize that the state of mind, how one thinks, prepare that person for future role. So there may be need. I also want to agree with you on reorientation. But it doesn't stop there. What about perseverance? Perseverance is another aspect. And that is part of what we call self-sacrifice. When we close our eyes to things that we know are not in our best interest. On the other one, the other contributor said that tertiary institution, the goals, the objective of tertiary institution has gone beyond manpower development to economic development. I want to say that assumption is like talking of a secondary objective in the place of the primary objective. The primary objective is to give skills, education to you and me. It is now how we now use those knowledge, apply it, that we now determine how we can advance the economy. So economic development has its own place. Human capital in terms of manpower development has its own place. But it is one that leads to the other. So there is no need for controversy. But as you reiterated, we need to tailor our curriculum towards critical thinking, creativity, self-sufficiency. That is the only way out. You said that non-funding of private institutions by third fund is a saving grace. Yes, it has made us to be self-sufficient, but it does not remove the logic that you are using Peter's money to pay Paul. The emphasis is on the fact that productivity of the private sector is being used to oil the public sector, forgetting the principle of no taxation, no representation. If you are taking from the private sector, why should the private sector not benefit from it in an organized, a well-organized structure? In the United States of America, government has no direct business with tertiary education, but government funds research and development. Government provides loans for students to go to school. And that's what the Tinubu administration is trying to put in place in Nigeria, because he was also a beneficiary of that idea. Government does not fund universities directly in the developed countries. Government only fund research and development, part of what is being done by TED Fund. So each university will generate its own money from the number of students that you can populate into the institution through admission on annual basis. So, but students can go to government agencies to seek for loans to go to school. which they will pay back after graduation when they are working. So that's a structure. So, and that is why if governments in those climes do not have the university of their own, Harvard, Cambridge, Massachusetts, and all those universities, UCLA, and all the rest of them exist in that environment and survive. And we regard them as corporate universities owned by public, owned by community, owned by churches, and other large enterprises. So, and if government in United States give all those universities in need of fund for research and development, that will bring greater development to their economy and state. I think all we should be looking at is that let all universities compete for grants, write grant proposals, compete for grants from third fund, and should not be restricted to private or public. What the government should focus on is, can they meet the requirement for the grants being sourced? Will they be able to, they will put in place specific bonds, specific parameters that must be met for collecting a grant, and they are going to see the result of that grant. So that will even make public and private institutions competitive. Their work will be competitive when each of these institutions are competing with one another to get a space. And that will be more fair. And that is still my conviction. I think government should allow private institutions, but in a well-arranged, well-supervised order, so that it will not become corruption or corrupt related, it will not introduce corrupt-related practices. So, because, you know, at a time people want to collect passports, you have to pay again. After paying the normal government thing, you have to pay again immigration, this and that, before you can get it. Until it was sanitized. Everybody now go to online. You don't need to know anybody. And you have time frame in which you can get things done. And until we can start to have such measures in place, even in access to education, access to funding, access to virtually everything that we're doing, we might not be able to get there. I want to thank you for your contribution. Maximizing workers' productivity. What is our input as workers? Change of heart and ready to make sacrifice. Okay, that's also what is our input as workers towards maximizing productivity. Someone said we need to have a change of heart. That is still reorientation. And then ready to sacrifice. It's still what was earlier said by you, that until we are ready to put self away and focus on the system, making the system to work well, we can't get there. But is the system encouraging that? Are those in leadership position allowing us to do things the right way? There are a lot of people here that want to do things the right way, but those in leadership positions do not allow them to do it the right way. And it is just the nature of our society. It's a lot of problems. The Hausas, the Yoruba have different sentiments. Don't let's deceive ourselves. And because we're in a federal system, we want to satisfy all their different way of values, how they look at things. We end up sacrificing merit. We end up sacrificing accountability. We end up sacrificing competence. It's the nature of the society in which we find ourselves. And until we have leaders who can say it right, the way it should be, and until we have laws that can give people the opportunity to do things right, we'll continue to face those forms of impediments, and we have to live with it. It is part of national sacrifice. Concern over the years, disparity of, yes, someone talked about the concern over the years on disparity of grants between academic and non-teaching staff in the university. And he said there's a need to bridge the gap. He also complained about the years of promotion. Let me tell us this bitter truth. I'm a SANU loyalist to the core. I'm ANUPA personified. But I need to tell us this truth. As a unionist, I will not bow to any ASU that attempts to denigrate us or to look down on us. But one basic truth we need to admit is that this is an academic institution. It's like animal farm. The academics will come in any matter before the non-teaching. It doesn't make us illiterate. It doesn't make us second-class citizens. But since the nature of the job of this place is an academic job, the focus and goal for anything to be done here will first be academic staff number one. It's just like the military. It's just like in the profession of health, in medicine. The doctors will be prioritized before the nurses, even though the nurses are the one doing the job. We administrators are the one doing the job. But the academic staff may have attention before we are being considered. But maybe with time, maybe as we continue to retrade this, as we continue to collaborate, as we continue to engage the academic staff, to also see the need, to also see us as collaborators and partners and stakeholders in the system, we may one day have some of them who are very sensitive to realities coming to also fight our cause. The reason is this. You know, anybody that has the cutlass is likely going to his own side. But it's not in the best interest of the system, because we have our own usefulness, our own essence, our own purpose for being there. Soldier go, soldier come. Barrack remains the same. We have our usefulness. And that's why we are saying there's a need for training and development. Training, retraining, upskilling. It doesn't end with us. The Bible says you shall know the truth, and the truth shall do what? Until you educate. And the academics, they are educated, but they need to be re-educated to know what we are doing in the university and our importance, so that they can accommodate us better and give us our rights. I think that is the only way to answer that question. Why is state fund sponsorship not available to non-teaching? I think the earlier question has addressed it. This other one says that countries in distress fell back to their universities for provision of for lasting solution, and they did not fail. Can we correctly say that the Nigerian universities have failed in this regard, or that the government has failed in giving the universities attention they deserve? I don't think that Nigerian universities have failed. I think the problem with Nigerian universities is that we have limited number of universities compared to the population of people that are in need of a university. Then we have a low-level economy that cannot drive the number of universities that we need to be able to access the universities. As a result of this, with the limited number of universities we have, with the struggle with the quality of life, the economy that we need for people to have access to university education and to sustain the university system, it now becomes a bit difficult for the universities to maximally perform to expectation. Because we have a larger, because if you go for meetings of JAM on national admission policy, they will show you the number of people competing for space in the universities and the available space. There is no year that the number of people competing for space is not higher than the number of available space based on the quota of the university. So we don't have enough universities. But to set up university requires funds that are not easily accessible. Those who own private universities that are making it accessible are usually on loan or sourcing from this fund from somewhere where they need to return with some profitability. So in the end of the day, university education now becomes a bit difficult to fund. So to solve that problem is this student loan scheme, where students without even the rich background can easily access loan to pay for their tuition fees in the universities. So that universities will not be struggling for funds or will be increasing funds irrationally. So I still want to believe that Nigerian universities are contributing positively to the nation. Nigeria of 1960 is not the Nigeria of today. There have been a lot of development, but we are still far behind when we are looking at development from the well-developed nations. And the problem is not even the Nigerian university. The problem is the lack of technological transfer. Lack of technological transfer. Inability to sustain and keep inventory of various innovations that have been put in place by previous Nigerians who have worked on one thing or the other. Look at the inventions of Professor Ajayi of Unilag, the late Professor Ajayi. If Nigerians can design and build cars way back at that time, you should know that it's not that the universities do not have the competence, the expertise, and the resource. But because of politicization, one thing or the other, we are not going at the rate we should go. And often we are competing with developed world, where they know that allowing us to grow, allowing us to be technologically advanced, allowing us to be able to have, look at, you can consider our challenge with the politics behind mines and steel. Look at Alaja steel, look at our Jaukuta steel industry. They have not allowed those, the foreign countries politicizing our infrastructure, have not allowed some of our heavy national investment to grow. Why is it difficult for Nigeria to be able to run refineries effectively? And we have to go and buy parts from overseas. I was still reading something last week where it was being said that landing costs in Nigeria is very high. for imported goods. Whereas when you go to neighboring countries, landing costs can be as low as $4,000, where in Nigeria is as high as $28,000. What makes the difference in Africa for us to be suffering? So it seems as if most foreign countries have seen Nigeria as a place where they can tap our money, tap our resources, and still make us to underperform without access to the right technology to develop. And our leaders need to be cautious, not to be selling us to them, because a lot of projects have been killed on exchange of patents. I don't want to become a unionist here or a politician. Yes, someone said from Galway, thank you, Mr. Ajayi. You commended Ajayi Crowther University Agricultural Development Project, and you wish to know if you can travel down to Ajayi Crowther to understudy us. Please do, if you want to. We'll willingly receive you so that you can, I will take you to the Vice Chancellor, and we will do the needful to let you know a lot about what we have done in our Faculty of Agriculture and in the university farm. Because that's part of collaboration and partnership. And we should relate together as universities. The overall essence of what we are doing, we have its positive implication on citizens and the society at large. How should a private university collaborate with public to converse? Yes, we have made attempts to canvass for TED Fund, for inclusion in TED Fund. You are talking of collective bargaining. This goes beyond collective bargaining. Information at my disposal indicated that it was even some vice chancellors of public universities that opposed the inclusion of private universities on TED Fund. And we don't know why. But above it, we are also told that there is a specific law that tailored TED Fund for only public institutions. And unless government can give a waiver or amend that law, we might still be struggling to get TED Fund. This other question, okay, the government rule on employment is that workers cannot engage in another work apart from farming. So with the encouragement of workers to have several streams of income through entrepreneurship, how are workers to manage, okay, without violating government rule? I'm aware of that rule, and it's even part of this, our CCB, that Code of Conduct Bureau regulations, where we talk of farming as the only proceed we can have. Even at that, lawyers among us are permitted to go to court. Medical doctors among us are allowed to go for private practice. Nowadays, we can also go into online trading. We can also get involved in computer-related businesses. We can become designers, web designers. We can get involved in some other things that may not even require physical presence leaving our place of work, and we can still make money. We can get involved in trading, online trading, but don't fall into the hand of scam, because there are a lot of scammers online. We can get involved in that, and we can still make ends meet. We have to improvise and look for a way around it so that we don't lose our job. And I think the important thing on that is to ensure that whatever we are going to do should not conflict with our normal, our permanent employment. And then, if possible, where we can't handle our business by ourselves, we need to have trustworthy people who can help us. This other one is on state of economic distress in Nigeria. The statistics is that 66 to 71% of employees says financial stress affects their work and productivity. What can be done? And the other question is that workers' productivity is trending downward in Nigeria. What can be done? Then can workers work hard during economic downturn? Yes, I've provided the answers within my limits. Regardless of these statistics, I don't know where the statistics is coming from. We already know that workers are under stress. We already know that institutions are under stress. Nobody is arguing that. But we've told you that the best way government can get involved to reduce this stress is to look for ways to give us access to credit, for institutions to allow us to be trained continuously in different areas where we can be independent and self-sufficient. So if you are able to get a copy of this paper, you will be able to digest it better, to be able to know what can be done. Although most part of the paper focused on management, it's from a management angle on what management can learn. Those in leadership position can learn in addressing how to solve the problems in their various institutions, in their various organizations, in line with what government has been doing. But we'll continue to learn on ways forward. This other question said that instances where countries like China, UK fell back. I think I answered that initially, that Nigerian universities have answered that initially. The other question, in the best practices globally, coupled with the economic situation in our country, is the aspect of work from home practicable by the university registry staff using TASWED as a yardstick? Even if it is not practicable now for us to work from home, it is an in thing in developed economies. There is no way we should run away from practicing it, because the system is captured in a way that even if you are working at home, if you leave the system for more than 5 minutes, they will know you are not on the system. And that will expose you, because the system might log you out, or it will show in a way, because your hand ought to be on the system if you are working from home. And then some of the system will have camera from which they can be seeing you from the office. So you can't run away from the work, even if you are doing it in the convenience of your home. But the challenge we're having is this: power is a challenge. Data management is a challenge. So that is why I may not 100% advocate working from home. But it's a method by which you can make life of our workers easier. We can make their life easier, because they will not be spending much to achieve a lot. But with the Nigerian factor, it may take time. But let's start thinking around it. Let's start thinking around it. We don't need to sit down here before we do our work. And some of this job can be done. Because my My academic affairs officer is here. The deputy registrar in that unit is here. The deputy registrar for STAB is here. And I think they know. I work with them 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I said, yes, a.m., not p.m. I send memos to them and they respond. I think I sent a memo to the academic affairs officer around 2 a.m. yesterday, and he responded. So if we are sending memos even at 2 a.m., is that part of working hour? It's just that we are committed to that job. So I don't think if we are not in the office at 8 a.m., it becomes an issue, except if we are to provide leadership. Because if we have done what we need to do, even in the night, and the university is not having any issue by the morning time, our physical presence in the office may be just to provide leadership. But until we get there, until we develop our system, our information management system, to be able to accommodate such practices, we can't run away from it, because it can also introduce indiscipline, where you see a staff who will not be at work and be claiming he's doing the work from home and is not doing anything. So there must be a control mechanism to check whether people sitting at home are really working. I've read through all the questions, and I believe we have been able to answer them appropriately. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Please, you can do better than that, please. Thank you so much, sir. We'll be going to award sessions straight away, sir. I want to call on the registrar to come and present the following awards. Mr. Tanimono Damola, Award of Meritorious Service as the immediate past RSA chairman. Mrs. Idris Omolabake. Mr. Adenuga Solomon Adewale, Executive. Mr. Z.O. Ogundeji. Mrs. Ogun TK. Mrs. Lawal Sheung. Mr. Amusa Abayomi. Mr. Adebola Daniel. The next award is for the Employee of the Year Award. At this category, we chose two, one senior and one junior. Please permit me to call on my friend, Mr. Oyelaja Bamdele Francis. Mrs. Taiwo Ruth Omoyeni.
Matayo.
Thank you, sir. You can go and have your seat, sir. For the next award, I would like to call on the bursar to come and present the next award. University bursar, sir. The award is for outstanding leadership, and it goes to the #1 citizen of Tasud, our own Vice Chancellor, Professor Oluwole Banjo, to be received by his able representative, Professor Jimoh Owoyele. The Vice Chancellor, sir, you cannot go, sir. But, sir, you can have your seat, sir. You see, the power of mic. The next person that is getting this award of recognition is no other person, a one-time national ANUPA officer, a public relations officer, and of course, the National Secretary of ANUPA before. And of course, of course, he is the Deputy Registrar, the Postgraduate College, Mr. Sarafaddin Adepoju Adebisi. The next person I want to call on, while I'm calling his name, I want you all to continue to clap because he's our own person. He's the patron for ANUPA. He's the patron for RSA. And today he is the host for today's program. Clap your hand for our own registrar, Mr. Sunday Oladapo. Okay. Award Lawyer of Administration. Now,
Yeah, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in this university, we have a culture. We present the university souvenir to our guest lecturer and visitors. August visitor in the month of August. And today, the representative of the Vice Chancellor will be doing that presentation on behalf of the Vice Chancellor and the university. So, Dr. Jadesola Babatola, the university would like to award you this. So, the Vice Chancellor.
The registrar, sir, all other protocols duly observed. On behalf of the council, the management, and in particular the Vice Chancellor, of course the registrar, and of course RSA, registry staff, we want to gladly present these products from our university as a mark of appreciation to today's guest speaker, who has actually done justice to the theme of this discourse. We appreciate your humble contribution to the development of our staff, and we want to say that everything we have in this bag are products of this university, beginning from the bag itself. And when you were giving your lecture, you made mention of entrepreneurship. In this university, we do not joke with that. In fact, from inception, our graduates go away with 2 certificates. One in their area of specialization, and the other one in the area of vocational choice. In other words, if you come in for BSc chemistry, you have your BSc chemistry, you also have a certificate in vocation, maybe certificate in tailoring, certificate in adire. So in this bag, we have adire there. This product is made by our students. We are always very proud of these things because they are quality materials, and they keep on to soar our image as a university. This is hand wash, also produced by the university. We have, we have this towel. You will see that even our inscription is on it, so that you continue to remember the day you come to Taswed. This is produced by the Center for Vocational and Entrepreneurial Studies. There are so many materials there. It's just that we are in the, is it rainy season or dry season? We will have put Gari Jebu there too, because we also...
The mother of the center.
Is it Jebu? So that is very interesting. So on behalf of this association and of course the entire university management, we are very glad to present this humble gift to you. Thank you, sir.
Appreciation. Mo dúpẹ́ oníbùwọ̀ bàbá bọ̀ pẹ́.
The Vice Chancellor, sir. The power of the mic is still working. Please. Yes, we want to use this opportunity to honor our retired staff, and we want to honor 2 persons here. Please clap your hands together as I call Mrs. Oluwatoyin Benice Taiwo. Mrs. Oluwatoyin Benice Taiwo, where are you? Please come to the podium. The next person is Mrs. Adesoya Dokat Idowu. Please clap your hands for her, please.
LightNiger.com.
Thank you, sir. You can have your seat. I want to believe we started well and we are about to end well. By His grace, I want to use this opportunity to wish you all journey mercy for those of you that are traveling. But it is not my job to give the vote of thanks. Please permit me to call on to Mrs. Olutunda to come and give the vote of thanks for today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. At this junction, we have to give honor to whom honor is due. We have to give God Almighty the grace, the honor, the praise for giving us the opportunity to be gathered here today. So please permit me to ask you to stand up on your feet and give God all it takes. He's our protector. He's our provider. He's the one who has granted us the grace, even to have this day. To you be all the glory. Please clap for God. Please clap for God. He deserves it. He deserves it. Clap for God. In the same vein, I'd like to appreciate our management, starting from the Vice Chancellor to the Deputy Vice Chancellor to our Registrar. Please clap for them. Please clap for them, please. To our Bossa, to our Liberia, we say thank you, sirs. Thank you for the love. Thank you for having us in mind. Thank you for how you have been taking care of us, paying our salaries as and when due, creating job opportunity for us. So many units, directorates have been created just to keep us fitting. We say thank you, sirs. God bless you all. In the same vein also, we are thanking our resource person, Dr. J.E.T. That was awesome. Please clap for him. We are not clapping. Please, let's clap. We thank you so much, sir. And we promise that even individually and as a university, we'll run with your word. We won't disappoint you. Thank you for coming, sir. Also, we'd like to thank all our deans, our directors, managers. Please clap for them, please. Heads of departments, heads of units, for your coming. Thank you for felicitating with us. Also, we'd like to thank all our visiting institutions. Some of them have left, but we'd like to thank you all. Thank you for coming to share in our joy. Please clap for them. We are not clapping, please. Let's clap for them. Also, we are thanking our invited guests. Some of us are invited. We thank you. God bless you all. And at the same time, we would like to thank the lecture organizing committee. They have really done a good job. Please clap for them. Please clap for them. Let's keep clapping. Let's keep clapping. They have really done a good job. And also, we are thanking the executive members of RSA. Let's clap for them. The chairman, all of them together, the treasurer, the financial secretary, all of them, we thank you. The social secretary, we thank you. Please, let's thank for them. Let's thank for them. And the last but not the least on my list are this set of people that they are behind RSA. And I'm talking about all the tasseled RSA members. Please, let's stand up. Let's stand up. All of us, stand up. Let's appreciate ourselves. Let's appreciate one another. Mr. J.E.T, we thank you, sir. You are one of us. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Let's appreciate ourselves. And on this note, I want to cap it up with just this little song. Inú mi dùn torí mo rọ́jọ́ òní. Ẹ bá mi kọrin o. Inú mi dùn wípé òní ṣojú mi. Ọ̀rẹ́, we are not shaking. Ọ̀rẹ́, ẹ jẹ́ lọ kí àwọn ọ̀gá.
Thank you. Let us stand for the national anthem. Let us all rise for the national anthem, please.
In brotherhood we stand, righteous, soul and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
Let us remain standing while the management take their leave for a group photograph outside. It will be done in sequences. We will call you so that you can, yes, in batches. So,
Trendy beats.
Once more, we want to appreciate our guests that have come far and near, that deem it fit to be part of us today. We say a big thank you to you. God will bless you. God will guide you and protect you as you go back to your various destinations. Significantly, we want to say thank you to Mrs. Abdul Karim Yesiri Adebinkwe for the journey. And we pray that God will see you back to your home safely. Thank you for coming to share part of our joy. We want to say thank you to Alhaji Ayodele Abdulaziz, Director Ataze Citadel of Arabic Education. Thank you for coming. The Principal Task Force, thank you for coming. Pastor Pastor Adelekon Koiki, the Registrar at the Porter Health College, Oru Ijebu. Thank you so much for joining us today.
together. Oh, my baby, now leave me.